Hey everybody, Cassie here. Welcome back to Carnivore Quest. It's that time of year again. The Super Bowl parties are happening, March Madness is right around the corner. I've decided to take my favorite carnivore appetizer recipes and put them all into one video for you.
Cool.
Okay y'all, before you decide to watch them toss around a pigskin, I'm going to show you how to make a very easy pigs in a blanket. We're going to start off with some bacon because bacon makes everything better. And I like to bake my bacon, so I'm setting the oven to 425 degrees. Start off by lining a baking sheet with parchment paper. Then add some thin sliced bacon to it. Pop it in the oven, and you want to cook it just under crispy. You want to be able to manipulate that bacon a little bit. Looks good. Let's make some pork panko. Easy stuff here. Of course you can buy it in the store, but for an extra step or two, you can definitely save yourself $1 or $2. Add it to the food processor and let it go on high. Make sure you check for any big chunks because we don't want anybody breaking a tooth. Now we're going to cut each slice of bacon in half, and we're going to run slits about halfway through each little doggy. Now let's bring our cast iron to temp properly. Low, medium, then medium high. I'm going to fry these little doggies in a little bit of rendered pork fat, also known as lard. Okay, it's time for the fun part. We're going to take a piece of bacon, insert it into the slit, and just wrap it around. Just like that. Now it's time to start dipping, and we're going to double dip and double coat. First in the egg wash, then in the panko, rinse and repeat. During this process, it might seem like the bacon is going to come off, but don't worry, because once you start frying it, it'll hold together nicely. Okay, let's get frying. It's best to fry just a couple at a time to keep the temperature of the oil up, and you can tend to them. Because everything's already cooked, you're just looking to get a nice golden brown on the crust. Total fry time is about 2.5 minutes. You can use any kind of little cocktail hot dogs, but these are the Tetons that I found at Costco, and they are absolutely delicious. There's no sugar in them. They're very clean, other than maybe a little celery salt and some other seasonings. That is it, and they are absolutely perfect. Everyone will be huddling up for these pigs in a blanket. With a little time and a little effort, these make great game day snacks.
These are absolutely delicious. It almost reminds me of like a little mini corn dog. Pigs in a blanket. I just used a little bit of mustard. Larry, if he had it his way, he would be using some ranch. You can dip it in anything you like, little hot sauce, stuff some cheese in there, make it your own. But these next 5 recipe videos, we're gonna put a timestamp in the description. So if you've already seen one, or if you wanna watch it again, you'll know exactly where to find it. While I finish these, y'all enjoy the rest of the video. And whatever event you're going to, enjoy it, have fun, and go team. All right, I've got a full 12-ounce package of bacon. I'm gonna pop it in the oven for about 15 minutes or so. And when we pull it out, I'll show you the next step. Larry found the perfect method for cooking hard-boiled eggs. It's 9 minutes, no ice baths, they're cooked thoroughly, and they peel perfectly. So we're going to put that up here, and if you want to use his method, check it out. If not, you can use yours as well. Bacon is done, water's boiling. Let's get to our next step. Perfect. I'm just gonna put this bacon on the cutting board to cool, and then we're gonna chop it up. And then this is the bowl that I'm gonna do all of my mixing in. Now I'm gonna pour the bacon grease into this bowl. Now I'm just gonna roughly chop this bacon. All right, eggs are finished. I'm gonna pull them out, let them cool, get them peeled, and then we'll see you in 2 and 2. All right, these are peeled, ready to roll. We have our bacon grease here. I'll show you how much to use there. Let me just show you our very next step. We're just gonna have each of these and pop all the yolks in there. Like I said, they're perfectly cooked. All the yolks are in here now, sitting in that bacon grease. Look at that. And I'm just gonna add maybe a tablespoon or so of butter. That's about 2. And then some bacon. I reserve some bacon to add to the top. And I just add it here. And then we mash it all together. You know, you make these deviled eggs, which I hate that word, but whatever. And without the mayonnaise, it's really hard to find a good substitute. But see, they're not going to be chalky at all. They're going to be very creamy. Sean's wife, Beth, she is the one. She'll use hot water and butter. And I've never put water in it because of all the bacon grease. There's just no need. You take what you need and you make it your own. Okay, now that we have everything mixed thoroughly, voila. I'm going to stuff these and then we're going to give them a taste. Okay, they're stuffed. I've got them garnished with the bacon bits and I can't wait to take a bite. Like I said earlier, these were a huge hit at our meetup and you will absolutely love these too. I've made this recipe so many times, I know it like the back of my hand. What I recommend that you do is add your bacon grease and your butter as you go. That way you'll know the right consistency, exactly how you want it. Some people want it a little thicker than others. Some people like the chalkiness, but this is a winner each and every time. These are great right out of the refrigerator. It's a little bit different of an experience. You know, the yolk may tend to fall out because it did harden a bit. But if you plan to entertain guests with these, I recommend pulling them out about an hour ahead of time to let them come to room temperature. But they're absolutely the best when they've been freshly made. This is a fairly clean recipe. I did add a few seasonings and spices just for a little extra kick. But you can make it as carnivore clean as you like. This recipe involves lard, which is rendered pork fat, and cast iron. So we're going to be doing some deep frying here. Yeehaw! I've got 2 pounds of pork butt here. I just used the braising method. Larry highlighted that method in a video a few weeks back.
And man, look at it now. It's absolutely falling apart, and look at that au jus. Oh my gosh.
So we'll put the link in the description and a card at the end of the video. Now we also have roughly 8 ounces of chopped and cooked bacon. Got the eggs here, and these are the seasonings that I use. It's really mustard based. I've got mustard powder in there, onion powder, a little black pepper, some chives and cayenne. Now this is going to be for the filler, and this is going to be for the breading. We'll go ahead, pop up cards, let you know exactly how much I used for this recipe. Now we also have some pork rinds. There's nothing in it. It's just pork skins and salt. That is all. And we're going to use this as our breading and as a binding agent. And then I just have some Black Forest ham here. There's about 4 ounces. You can use more or less or none at all. And then I have this Sartori cheddar. It's a farmhouse cheddar. It's extra sharp and it's really rich. And I just like a rich, meaty, get it, meaty? A rich, meaty cheese. And but you can absolutely use any kind. I prefer cheddar. And again, this is a customizable recipe. You can absolutely leave the dairy out.
but I'm not. So we're gonna crush our pork rinds and then shred our cheese. We'll crush our pork rinds first because, you know, the cheese will be stuck to the sides and you don't want that nonsense or that mess to clean up. It's gonna be messy enough as it is. After doing this a few times, I learned that half a bag at a time. That's what you're gonna crush, half a bag at a time, empty it out, rinse and repeat. We're gonna do that 3 times. Yeah, I let this go for about a minute. You want to get those crumbs pretty fine. I always make sure I go through the pork rinds and just feel for any really big hard pieces like this guy. I mean, it was in there for a while, it still didn't break up. So just kind of run your fingers through there and see if you find anything and just pull it out. Now that we've crushed our pork rinds, we're gonna go ahead and shred the cheese. That smells delightful. Just gonna break it up here, make it a little easier on the machine. Maybe take a little nibble. Now this block I have is 7 ounces of cheese. I'm only going to use about half of it. Again, it's just an accent. One thing you're going to notice about this recipe is we're adding no additional salt. There's enough salt in the cheese, enough salt in the bacon, and enough salt in the pork rinds. So we're just going to break a couple eggs. I'm going to use 2. Oh, that was an interesting little yellow yolk. So these are pasture raised. That one's a little funky, but look how dark that one is. And we're just going to whisk them. We're gonna add that to our pork. Okay, so I'm just whisking the eggs 2 at a time. These 2 are gonna be what we roll our mixture in. Now I'm just going to continue adding everything. There's really no particular order other than the pork rinds, just because you may need more or less. You know, depending on how much fat you have in there, the moisture of the cheese that you use, I mean, that all affects it. So this is the mustard, cayenne pepper, chives, and onion mixture. Again, there's no salt. I'm just gonna add that to it. I'm going to reserve a little bit of these bacon bits just for accent. Okay, and then one last thing to grind up. Voila. Now that ham goes in, and then we're gonna get real messy. We have half of our crushed pork rinds in this bowl, and I'm just going to add the coating for that. I've got black pepper in here, mustard, and mustard again. Do you see a common theme here? Pork and mustard are like the dynamic duo. They go perfectly together. And I have a little more onion. It's like half a teaspoon in each, so we're using like a full teaspoon of onion powder throughout the whole recipe. So we're talking like 2.5 pounds of meat here, plus everything else. It's really not a lot. Okay, so now I have the seasonings well incorporated. I have gloves because this can get real messy. Now I'm just going to start adding the pork rinds, probably half at a time, and you're going to find that after you make enough of these recipes, the right consistency. You may not get it right the first time. I didn't, they fell apart. Just keep trying, because eventually you're gonna get it right. Just mix everything together. So now that I have everything well incorporated, everything is mixed throughout and they're all friends and it's gonna be delicious, but I found that I only needed about a cup of the pork rinds. So this is the consistency that I'm looking for. As you can see, it's all holding well really nicely together. And once we roll it in the egg and the breading, it's gonna stay together so nicely. This is gonna be awesome. The process is a little bit lengthy, but you know, like I said, this is a carnivore treat. And you're gonna make this for a crowd because everybody would love this. This isn't just for carnivores. You know, and people would be surprised to know that this is a carnivore treat. We'll just ball up the meat and then just roll it through the egg. And then roll it through the pork rinds. That's it. Just rinse and repeat, and just keep doing this. If you need to crush up more pork rinds, you can do so. Let me get these finished up and we'll see you in a second. I have half a block of the lard melting in this pan. I heated the cast iron up slowly like you always should. That way it's just a better even heat. The lard that I have came in a 1 pound pack and I used about half. So there's about 8 ounces of lard in there and it's just melting in the cast iron. And once it reaches the optimal temperature, we're gonna put these guys in there, over there, and then in my mouth. All right, so our lard is nice and hot. I've got it set at a medium-high heat. I'm just gonna drop these balls in there about 4 at a time, and you're gonna wanna cook them just a couple minutes. You're just looking for a golden brown because everything's already cooked. You're looking to get that outside nice and crispy, and the inside warm, and that cheese nice and melty. So let's put our first one in. Now, as you can see, the color is a little lighter. Don't worry about that. It will get this beautiful golden brown. So the reason I'm only doing a couple at a time is because when you overcrowd the pan, it brings the temperature of the oil way down and then it just becomes soppy and it's not doing what it's supposed to do. Get it nice and crispy and delicious. Delicioso. Just play around with it a little bit because you want a nice even brown on all sides. And there we are. Perfectly deep fried goodness. Okay guys, that's it. I will see you when they're all done. Are you hungry?
Oh yeah.
Me too.
Piggy Poppers.
Piggy Poppers.
I'm digging it. These are a very, 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 very awesome treat.
Very.
Very.
Very, very.
Yeah, man. Can I have one?
Of course.
Okay, here we go. First couple I tried when she was, testing this recipe out, developing it, they weren't very good, but she dialed it in.
So we just added a little bit of sour cream for accent. Again, this is customizable. Use it. You don't have to use it. Yeah? How about that crunch?
Crunch is awesome.
So this recipe is totally BBBE compliant, carnivore compliant. If you want to make this recipe for your sad eaters, you can put anything in here you like. But this recipe has 3 ingredients: beef, bacon, salt, and of course cast iron. Everything's better than cast iron, right? Yes. Okay, let me show you how to do this. Y'all, I'm serious. This is gonna be so easy and so good. We have 2 pounds of ground beef. It is $73.27. I've got a pound of bacon and a little bit of salt. Here's my cast iron. First thing we're gonna do is set the oven to 450 degrees. This is where it gets really complicated. Okay, we're just gonna add a little bit of salt. This is maybe 1/2 to 3/4 of a tablespoon. You really don't need a lot because there is bacon. You can always add to it. You can never take salt away. So I'm gonna mash this up and then we're gonna get to the even more difficult part. All right, so let's just get our hands dirty. I mean, there's 1,000,001 ways to make ground beef, right? This is just one of them. And I'm gonna show my family how to make it. All right, y'all, so all we're gonna do is start playing with this. It's like Play-Doh. You remember how to play with Play-Doh? Now watch. Oh, y'all. This is what I love about it. It's simple and easy. Boom. Rinse and repeat. We're gonna do that until all the ground beef is gone and it's wrapped in bacon. If you need a little bit more, that's cool. But I don't know, this is maybe 2 ounces, about 2 ounces of ground beef. You can use more or less. Let's try and keep the size uniform because you want this to cook at the same time. If some of them are too small and while others are too big, you're gonna have raw and well done. All right, y'all, I managed to get 14 in total, so they're a little more than 2 ounces each. 2 pounds is 32 ounces, so they're probably pushing 2.5 to 3 ounces each. Next step is to pop them in the 450-degree oven for about 25 minutes. Okay, I'm hungry. 22 minutes, they're pretty much perfect. So I'm just gonna pull them out, let them cool off, and we're gonna eat. Oh yes. Little Rosie. Oh. Little girl, come here, little girl. Not you. Little girl. Little Rosie. Oh, would you like something to eat? Oh, you went to play? Okay. She's a crazy girl. I know she's wanting some of that bacon. I'm gonna let this cool off for a few minutes, sit down, and I'm gonna eat. With prep time and cook time, you can have a fast and easy meal in under 30 minutes. So I'm gonna eat this. Last time Larry and I just picked them up, but I don't feel like getting my fingers all greasy. If I'm not fast, Rosie's gonna come in here. There she is. Little Rosie, you know you want some. Oh yeah. So I said this before, I've made these a handful of times. People have requested a recipe video and I heard you. So I hope this doesn't disappoint. How can it? It's ground beef and bacon, a little bit of salt. So easy, so delicious, satisfying, and satiating. Why not? You know? If you already make this recipe, let me know what you do differently to it. Do you bake it a little lower temp for a little longer? Do you bake it at a higher temp? There's a few different ways you can make these. You can bake them in the oven. You can put them in a toaster oven. You can air fry them. You could probably pan fry them, although it might take a little while and it's gonna be a little bit of a mess. If you haven't seen the accountability video, I'm gonna have Larry put the card up here. We had our family over and we just played a little bit of poker and hung out, but they ordered pizza. Okay, well, y'all enjoy it.
Yeah, pull ours out now. That'll work. That looks delicious. I'm hungry. We took a little step in the living room. That's why the lighting's so bad. We got our bacon wrapped little meatloaf hot dog concoctions. It's gonna be good.
Not hot dog.
I know. They're shaped like hot dogs, like little pigs in a blanket.
Pigs in a blanket.
Ground beef.
Cows in a blanket.
Cheers.
All right, fellow snackivores, let's get to this recipe. Today, I present buffalo chicken dip. This is a very simple yet little detailed because there are a few steps, but everything is going to be homemade. Not only is it clean, low carb, it is absolutely delicious. For the ingredients, I have the usual suspects. We have shredded chicken. This is the same method that I use to make my chicken soup recipe. Chicken thighs, salt, water. It's shredded up nice and fine. I have about 7 cups here. Lately, I've been using Cabot cheese. I like using Cabot and Tillamook cheese as far as widely produced cheese. Cabot just so happened to be on sale, so I picked some of that up. It's their seriously sharp cheddar. I absolutely love it. I have Tillamook cream cheese here. That is my favorite. The type of hot sauce you use does matter. Now, all have different flavor profiles and heat levels. I absolutely love Cholula. I also have some butter and some sour cream. We are going to make our own blue cheese dressing. We're gonna make our own buffalo sauce, and it's gonna be amazing. So let's get started, shall we?
Shall we go together? Let's.
So the very first thing I'm going to do, I have 1 block of room temperature cream cheese, and this is 7 cups of shredded chicken. So we're gonna mix the cream cheese and the chicken together, get that all well incorporated. I decided to use more chicken than cream cheese because, well, I want it to be meat heavy. Okay, so we're gonna mix this together. All right, chicken and cream cheese is mixed well together. We're just gonna put that aside. Now let's make some blue cheese sauce. For blue cheese sauce, you need blue cheese crumbles. I have about 3 ounces here. I'm gonna use some sour cream, heavy whipping cream, and these are optional, but I do like to give it a little extra flavor. So I've got some garlic salt here, A little bit of cayenne pepper for an extra kick, some smoked paprika, and then I'll add some cracked black pepper. Again, these are all completely optional. You could get away with just these three, but I just want to amp it up a little bit. I added about 3/4 cup of the sour cream. I'm gonna add a few tablespoons of the heavy cream to our 3 ounces of blue cheese crumbles. Add that, little cayenne pepper. Again, use it, don't use it. You wanna add something else, a little ghost chili pepper, that's cool too. So just wanna add a little heat to it, and some smoked paprika. I like all the peppers. Let's go ahead and crack a little bit of this salt, garlic, and parsley mixture on top. Maybe about a tablespoon. And now we're gonna crush some peppercorns. Boom. Now, for the easy part, just mix it all together. That's it. This also makes an excellent dipping sauce for your buffalo chicken wings. Okay, that's it, done. See how easy that was? Now let's head over to the stovetop and I'm gonna show you how to make this easy, delicious buffalo sauce. Many people agree that buffalo chicken came from a woman named Teresa Bellissimo in Buffalo, New York in the mid-60s. And she created this for her hungry son and his friends, and it's just been so popular ever since. It's very simple. You got butter and you have hot sauce. Some people will add their hot sauce and their butter to the microwave. Not me. You really only need a few minutes for this. Melt your butter, add your sauce, you're done. To about 1/4 to 1/2 cup. 5 tablespoons of butter here. We're just gonna let it heat and stir it up real well. Look at that orange color. The only thing coming out of a bottle here is the hot sauce. All right, now it's time for the fun part. It's time to get messy. It's time to assemble everything, pop it in the oven, and in no time, this buffalo chicken dip is gonna be in my mouth. So we have our chicken and cream cheese. Next, I'm going to take 1/2 of our shredded cheese, which is about 4 ounces, and I'm just gonna mix it in there. I'm gonna reserve the rest of it and put it on top. Chicken, cream cheese, cheddar cheese. Next up is our blue cheese sauce. And I'm just gonna take all of it, just pour it in. That'll work. Okay, chicken, cream cheese, cheddar cheese, blue cheese sauce. Now we're gonna add our buffalo sauce. So fresh buffalo sauce will separate when it sits for any amount of time. So all I'm gonna do is give it a quick whisk before pouring it in. There we go. And I'm gonna use all of it. And you can never go wrong with bacon. I have 1 12-ounce package of chopped and fried bacon, and that's gonna add a little extra texture and a little more flavor to this already knock your socks off dip. I mean, who thought it could get any better? Well, bacon. So we're gonna mix all this together, and then I'm gonna put it in cast iron. Of course, cast iron. No crock pots, no microwave. I am a firm believer that cast iron makes everything better. So just give everything a good stir, put it in this beauty, pop it in the oven for about 15-20 minutes because we want everything to get nice and bubbly. Everything's already been cooked. We're just getting it hot. Bacon buffalo chicken dip. And for the record, you're not allowed to use canned chicken, pre-shredded cheese, or anything else that comes out of a plastic bottle. All right, we've got our meaty, delicious buffalo chicken dip ready to go in this pan, be topped off with some cheese, and right into the oven. In it goes. Oh, I almost dropped that. That could have been a disaster. Buffalo chicken everywhere.
"20 minutes later."
It's time. Now let's just garnish with a little bit of cayenne. So there you have it. This is gonna be the best buffalo chicken dip you've ever had. And if you do make it this way, let me know in the comments what you think. What would you have done differently, and what ingredients did you add or subtract? I'll try this for you and let you know what I think. I'm gonna get a little bit of that melted cheddar cheese on top. My mouth's watering. I mean, you got chicken and cream cheese. What else do you need? So I'm gonna show you how to make Chicky Cakes. So here we go, Chicky Cakes 3 ways. Our very first version is gonna be what I like to call the ultra carnivore. It's so clean. It's a handful of ingredients and it's delicious. The next way is bacon and cheddar. I've got a nice smoked aged white cheddar. And then for our last one, we're gonna do a chicken cordon bleu. The chicken cordon bleu is not exactly your typical recipe. There's no flour in it. I have no Worcestershire sauce in it, but I do have some Dijon mustard. So that is definitely gonna go in there. And in place of ham, we're gonna use bacon for this recipe. I will put the recipe down in the description so you can read it in black and white, but I'm going to show you step by step how to make this. Now this is really simple. All right, let's get into our ingredients. So we're starting off with some chicken. This is chicken thighs. I made it the same way that I make my chicken soup recipe. Just drain some of the broth. It's nice and shredded, good to go. I have 3 cups here. Now for the ultra clean carnivore, we're gonna use the chicken. I have bacon, eggs, and then we've got pork panko. That is all. And unlike our Piggy Poppers recipe, there's no lard. If you've noticed that, there is no lard. We're gonna bake these. It's just as delicious to bake them or pop them in an air fryer as it was to deep fry. And you have a lot less mess. Now, I learned this along the way with the pork rinds. As you can see, I mean, that's fat. So there's already a lot of fat and it's gonna give it so much flavor. If you don't feel like cooking, you certainly can use canned chicken. I don't recommend it, but hey, if that's all you can do, that's fine. But if you don't mind a little cheese, little extra ingredients, which is really not much, we're gonna continue. We'll go with bacon and cheddar. I have a beautiful smoked aged white cheddar that's gonna go in with my bacon and cheddar. And then for the cordon bleu, we'll also be using bacon. I have Swiss cheese, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, Dijon mustard, and then we're gonna use some black pepper as well. All right, first things first, let's go ahead and start mixing some ingredients. I've got 4 eggs, and I'm gonna use 2 and 2 because I am making separate batches. I'm just gonna have the mixture. This is where things get a little tricky because unlike baking, where baking is kind of an exact science, you know, you need a 1/4 teaspoon of this, 1/2 cup of that, yada, yada, yada. These are guesstimates and every batch is gonna be different. It's not always gonna be the same. So sometimes there's a little more moisture in the chicken, it's a little drier, you might need more egg, more pork rinds. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying. So we've got 2 eggs for 3 cups of chicken. And I'm just gonna take some of these pork rinds and just by the handful, because once I start mixing, I'll know the consistency that I want and need. So this is about 1/2 cup. So 3 cups chicken, 1/2 cup, okay? Let's see how this works out. It's feeling a little wet, so I know I'm definitely gonna have to add some more. I don't want it too wet, because it'll fall apart. And I don't want it too dry because it'll fall apart. So you do need to get the consistency right. And you know what, just play around with it because eventually you're gonna get it right. You're gonna know exactly how much of what to put in. You'll do it so many times, you'll be a pro. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bacon. Now I cooked 12 ounces of bacon and I'm gonna use 1/2 for this recipe and 1/2 for the other recipe. So we have 12 ounces of bacon here and I'm going to use 1/2 of it in this batch and 1/2 in this batch. So this is our ultra clean carnivore. This is where you stop adding ingredients, okay? So ultra clean carnivore, no more ingredients. So we have our assembly line here. All we're gonna do is ball it up. Now you can make it as big or as small as you like. You wanna make them into little balls, that's fine, like the Piggy Poppers. Or if you wanna make them into these cakes, you could do that too. It's really just a matter of preference. Okay, so we put it in the egg, and we're gonna drop it in the pork rinds. Now, so far, I've used 2 bags of pork rinds, and I have a feeling I'm going to have to grind up some more rinds. What are they, about 3-4 ounces each? And the pork rinds only have salt in them, and of course the pork skin. That's it. So I'm definitely going to need some more to finish this recipe. All right, we got our ultra clean Chicky Cakes going on here. Let's go ahead and bump it up a little bit. This one. Now we're just gonna add a little bit of black pepper. Just a little sprinkle of black pepper, okay? All right, so we're just gonna add some cheese. I shred my own cheese. Not only is it a better melt, it's a better flavor, and there's just less in it. So I don't need a lot. I shredded probably about 4 ounces, and as you can see, I used maybe 3 tablespoons, if that. A little goes a long way. It's just an accent. It's not the main star. Okay, so we've got our ultra carnivore. I'm actually gonna twist them this way so we know which is which. All right, this, all we did was add a little bit of cheese and pepper. So that's the difference between the ultra carnivore or ultra clean, or however you want to word it, and this next batch. So I'm gonna put those guys there. I'm going to have to mark them somehow, but I will figure that out. So we just keep rolling, rinse and repeat, and you're just gonna keep doing that. So after I finish patting these up and grind up some more pork rinds, I'll show you how to make the cordon bleu. Okay, and for the third Chicky Cake, it's the cordon bleu. We add some bacon, we add our Swiss cheese, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, pepper, Dijon mustard. We have our bacon. Now you can use ham if you like. You can use turkey bacon. It's really a matter of preference. I just wanted this to be a little bit on the cleaner side, so I opted for bacon. I've got my Swiss cheese. Again, I'm gonna use about 2-3 ounces of that. Now, the Parmesan cheese is just gonna add a little extra punch. You don't need a lot of it because this is a pungent cheese and a little goes a long way. So maybe a tablespoon. Again, more or less to preference. Pepper here, just a couple of pinchfuls, okay? And then I'm just gonna take approximately a tablespoon. I'm already messy. Of our Dijon mustard. So let's just mix that in together. Boy, oh boy, that is wet. So that's what I'm talking about. I am not crazy about how that is. So what I'm gonna do is add a few more pork rinds because I don't want it to fall apart. It's just too loose. So grab another handful, you know, and you just gotta play with that. You don't want it falling apart. The taste will still be amazing. It'll just be a little sloppier to eat. And that's okay if you don't mind, but you know, a lot of it is about texture too. So, okay, all right, that's a little better. So we're just gonna patty this up and we're gonna pop them in the oven. All right, so Chicky Cakes are patted up, ready to go. My oven is preheated to 450 degrees. Yes, I want a high temperature because I'm just gonna heat it. I'm not looking to bake it. I'm just popping it in the oven to get it hot and crisp up the outside. So let's pop these bad boys in the oven and I'll see you in a few minutes. But first, I have to clean my mess.
Ah!
Just take them off, put them on the plate so it catches some of that grease. Let it sit for a few minutes and we can enjoy it. All right, the apron is off. It's time to enjoy. I am absolutely starving. This is my first meal of the day. And I did save up because I knew that I was gonna be taste testing along the way and whatnot. But as far as like meals, this is it. So I did separate them. So this is our ultra carnivore, just chicken, bacon, egg, panko. This one is bacon and cheddar, and then this one is the cordon bleu. And I did make a sauce. So all it is a little bit of sour cream, some Dijon, and I topped it with a little bit of bacon. Again, use it. You don't have to. It's a matter of preference. I'm gonna have some. So I'm gonna start with the ultra carnivore, the cleanest of the trio. That's a nice crunch. There we go. Okay. That broke apart real nice. So, all right, let's try. Well, let me try it before I put any sauce on it because, you know, you need a base. That's really good. It has a nice crunchy exterior. I love the texture. Let me just show you this because I was chewing it and I was just trying to figure it out, but look at that. Man, that pulls apart so nicely. I mean, you can make these into nuggets for those of you who have kids or you entertain your grandkids or grandkids live with you, whatever. You got little ones. This will definitely, this will take care of it. Okay, that makes a big difference. Wow, that's really good. I'm not even using a fork anymore. We're just gonna go caveman. That's cool. Okay, next, bacon and cheddar. Again, it holds up really nice. I love this crust. Oh my goodness, look at that. Look at that color. Texture. All right, so now we got a little cheese in here and black pepper. I'll just make them breakable chicken nuggets. Oh yeah, that's absolutely delicious. All right, on to the cordon bleu. I love Swiss cheese and I love mustard. I love mustard. If you didn't get that from my Piggy Poppers, you saw that there was mustard in there too. I love mustard. Chicken cordon bleu without the guilt. So we're gonna try a bite without the sauce. But I know that sauce is gonna be really good. Oh. That Swiss cheese and that little bit of mustard just elevated it, knocked it out of the park, man. This is really, really good.
Chicken chips with chicken liver pate. Ingredients and measurements are in the description. Aside from a small amount of shallots, garlic, and seasoning, this is a carnivore appetizer that everyone will love. First, let's start this recipe with 2 chicken breasts. Slice and cube in pieces small enough to add to the food processor. Add the chicken to the processor, blend on high until it's a nice, fine consistency. Our seasonings consist of a little smoked salt, Himalayan sea salt, and cayenne pepper. Incorporate the seasonings with the chicken meat. Cover a surface with parchment paper and take 1/3 of the chicken mixture and cover the top with plastic wrap. Press the meat down and take a rolling pin and roll the meat thin, paper thin. You'll almost want to see through it. Once you've rolled the meat thin, remove the plastic wrap and place it on top of a baking sheet. Pop it into a 350-degree oven for 45 minutes. After 15 minutes, flip the meat. You'll do this 3 to 4 times to ensure that there is no more moisture and the meat is brown and hard. Remove from the oven and set aside to let it cool. Over a medium heat, melt 2 tablespoons of butter. Add your chopped shallots and 4 pieces of chopped bacon. Sauté the bacon and shallots for a few minutes. Add your garlic and then your chicken livers. Now we'll take 10 ounces of butter and add them to the pan. Add some poultry seasoning. Now add roughly 2 to 3 tablespoons of heavy cream. Stir everything together and let it cook for about 10 minutes. Remove from the burner and let it cool for a few minutes. Once it's cooled down a bit, add that delicious mixture to the food processor and blend it well. Give it a good scrape and blend a little longer. You can spoon it into individual ramekins. You'll get about 4 4-ounce ramekins, or just put it in one giant bowl. Now it's time to take that cooled, hardened meat sheet and turn it into chips. After you've arranged your chicken chips, add your ramekin to the center of the plate and enjoy this dish warm. Absolutely delightful. You're welcome. The whole freaking reason. Come on.
You got it, baby.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
All right. And not only are you going to experience physical discomfort, there was fresh made queso dip, so I thought, damn man. Fuckers. This is our 3rd channel-wide weight loss challenge. And
You keep looking at me. I love you. You're so sexy.